Good morning, good morning. I hope yesterday's assignment was easy enough for you guys. Today we are going to continue talking about adding three-digit numbers. Yesterday you added 10 or 100 to any three-digit number, but today what we're going to do is work with open number lines, and you guys love open number lines. So today's assignment should be fairly easy. I put in a couple of harder questions for you guys to kind of stretch your brain a little bit, but I think you guys have it. You'll be able to get it pretty easy enough. And if not, you can always message in our Google Classroom, just like I showed you guys. And I will respond back to you, and we can talk about it and work through it together. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to try to make this video a little bit shorter than yesterday's because yesterday's was pretty long. So today should be short and sweet. We're going to be using open number lines to add three-digit numbers, okay? So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the assignment that you have on Google Classroom, okay? So looking at that, it has your standard, okay? Add and subtract within 1,000. And then it tells you to think about it. How can you use an open number line to add three-digit numbers? And then it says, answer this question. Now, some of you forgot to answer the question yesterday on the other assignment, but I went ahead and highlighted it this time. That way you've seen it for sure. And it says, what is an open number line and how do you use it? You should be able to easily explain that for me. And that should have been answered before you watch this video. After you watch this video, there will be 4 questions on your Google Doc where you have to analyze my work. You guys have done this before. I could be correct. I could be incorrect. You need to tell me if I am, whether I'm incorrect or correct, and then explain how you know. Okay, and then there's another one where you have to explain another way that I could have shown 450 plus 298 using an open number line. Okay, I also highlighted that way you didn't miss that question. And then if you scroll down to the very last page, it says write an equation that represents each addition on each number line. So there are 2 different open number lines with 2 different work samples, I guess you could say, and you need to come up with the equation. Now, there are missing pieces in each work sample, okay? So that's where I was going to say we're stretching your brain a little bit, but you guys can do it. And if you struggle, that's okay. Remember, making mistakes only makes your brain grow because you'll figure it out soon after. All right, so now that we've talked about what you need to do, let's go ahead and just look at a quick equation. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera around just like I did yesterday, and then we will watch our visual learning video, okay? And then I will let you get to work. All right, so let me switch you around. Well, let me get my stuff together first. Okay, so the equation I'm going to go through with you guys today is 670, and some of you guys will already know what to do, and you'll probably do it in your head, and that's okay. So let's go ahead and just write our equation, 670 plus, let's just do 232. Okay, so 232. Let me see if I can get something to raise the computer up a little bit. Okay. So maybe this will work a little bit better. Hopefully. I don't know. Alright, so the first thing you do is draw your line. You guys already know that. For your open number line. Okay, and whenever we are using open number lines, which addend do we always start with? Okay, it doesn't matter which side it's on. We always want to start with the larger number. So looking in our hundreds place, we can see that the 6 is in the hundreds place of 670, and then the 2 is in the hundreds place of 232. So we know that 670 is going to be our larger number. So that's the number we're going to start with, because when you start with your larger number and you add your smaller number to it, you're going to be making less jumps, right? I hope you guys remember that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We have the number 670 is our start number. Okay, it might be easier to use blue. The pink is not really showing up. So let's do blue. 670. Okay. When we worked with double digit numbers in open number line, you guys knew that you always started with your tens place and you try to make those jumps first and then your ones. Okay, well, now that we're using 3-digit numbers, we'll have to start with our hundreds place. So one way that we can do this is go ahead and make one big jump of 200, because if we broke 232 down by place value, it would be 200 plus 30 plus 2, correct? All right, so we made our big jump of 200, and we have to make sure that we right underneath where we landed. So 670 plus 200 is going to give us what? What would this number be if we added 670 plus 200? Well, we don't have any tens and ones to add to 670 just yet, so we would just add our 200s to our 6, which would give us 8. So we have 8 hundreds, 7 tens, and 0 ones. All right, so we got our 2 out of the way, our 200, right? Now let's look at the next place value. We need to add how much? 30, right? So we're going to go ahead and add our 30. Okay, 870 is where we last landed. We're going to add 30 to that. So what would that give us? All right, so let's look at it. We have 870 plus 30. Okay. Look at our hundreds, tens, and ones. All right. So if we break that up, 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 3. What does 7 plus 3 give us? It gives us 10. But once we have 10 in the place value right here, we have to do what? We have to regroup, right? So 10 tens makes 100. So we're going to go ahead and carry our 100 over. We have a 0 in the tens place now. And then adding our hundreds, 8 plus 1 is 9. So when we add our 30 to 870, we land on a friendly 900. Okay, so now that we've got our 30, all that's left is our 2. So let's go ahead and add our 2. Okay, and that would land us on 902. All right, so 670 plus 232, the sum of that is 902. Okay. Now, some of you don't like making those big jumps. Some of you do because it's quicker. Either way, as long as you get that final sum, I don't care how you do it, as long as you get that correct sum at the end, okay? And what I mean by that is some of you like to, for example, you like to break your add-ins even further. So if we started at 670, some of you, instead of making that initial 200 jump, some of you would like to do just 100, which would land us on 770, and then another 100, okay, to give you 870. All right, and then you would do the same thing, plus 30, which gives you a friendly 900, plus 2, which gives you 902. Either way, you see, we got the same sum, okay, right? Whether you made a big jump of 200 or whether you do 2 jumps of 100. Either way, you should get that same sum, okay? So that's basically what you guys are going to be doing today. All right, you're working with open number lines. And it should be fairly easy for you guys because you rocked it when we did double-digit open number lines, okay? So if you need the extra help or you want to watch the visual learning video, I'm going to go ahead and play that for you right now. If you don't want to watch it, you can just go ahead and click out of my video and get started with your work, okay? I did put at the bottom of the page that if you want to do some extra practice, you absolutely do not have to, okay? You don't have to, but if you want to do the extra practice, you can do pages 439 and page 440, okay? I'm going to go ahead and start your video.
Find 481 plus 122. Use an open number line. One way to solve is to show jumps by hundreds, tens, and ones. What number is shown first on the open number line? Why is this number shown first? 481 is shown first on the open number line because it is the greater of the two add-ins. Then each part of 122 is added on, starting from 481. Why is it helpful to use an open number line to add like this? The number line helps you keep track of the numbers you have added. You can break apart one of the add-ins into smaller numbers so it is easier to add mentally.
Okay, let's go ahead and try it. All right, so
drag the slider to see the steps to add 481 plus 122.
Okay, notice they start with their bigger add-in or their larger. It has a greater amount, okay, greater quantity. So 481, they're going to add the 100 from the 122, and then they're going to add a 10. Okay, but notice that there are 2 10s in the 122, okay? So we have to add another 10 to make that total value of 20 in the 122. And then you're going to add 1. Well, let's see. Add 1 and then add 1 again, okay? Because you have a 2 in your ones place. And then 481 plus 122 gives you a total sum of 603.
Another way to add 481 and 122 is to make bigger jumps. 122 is broken apart in a different way. How are the two ways of adding similar?
Okay, so let's look at this just real quick. I just showed you 2 ways to add what number did we do? We did 670 plus 232. With this one, they're showing you 2 ways, okay, to add 481 plus 122. But if you notice, at the end, you get the same sum, correct? No matter which way you add it, whether you make 2 jumps of 10 or if you just go ahead and make that 1 jump of 20 and then that 1 jump of 2. All right, either way that you break it down, you're going to get the same sum.
Both ways show using an open number line to solve 481 plus 122. The first number shown on the open number line is 481. Then 122 is added. How are the two ways different?
Okay, go ahead and think about that, even though we just talked about it really, right? So the only difference is they broke up that tens place and the ones place.
122 is broken apart in different ways. The second way uses bigger jumps on the open number line. Do both ways show the same sum? Select your answer.
Yes or no? Yes, you should have said yes.
Yes, both ways show that the sum of 481 plus 122 is 603.
Both ways are correct.
Now you know how to add using an open number line.
You guys already knew how to use an open number line. Okay, so now that that's over, if you've watched it thus far, then like I said, go ahead and go back to your Google Doc, finish those last 4 questions, okay? Make sure you explain really well as if you were teaching a pre-K kid, all right? When you explain, I want you to act as if you're teaching someone, okay? If you have any questions, post within our Google Classroom just like you do at school.